much for that. At least a lot has said, and for me I'm so grateful that as we sit here, as we sit in this room, we already know what is supposed to be done. We only pray to the Almighty God that one day, one time, we fulfill all our plans we have, because we have to push on. We have to see that our country gets better. Whatever the case means, whatever it takes, we have to see that we have a better Uganda. I'm telling you, as Ronald Reagan put it, that good citizenship and defending democracy means living up to the ideals of and values that make this country. By then, for him, it was for this country. But now we are saying that makes Uganda great. So we want to see that we make Uganda a great home. We want to see that when you say you want to come back home, you feel there is no fear. When you want to come back home, there is democracy. When you want to come back home, there is rule of law. Everything is good as far as paperwork is concerned. But when it comes to implementation, we are having that junta. We have someone who feels that taking those Ugandans through tyranny is the way forward. But we are here to join you. We are here to be at home there, to say no and stand by it. Our President, Honorable Jaglan Satan, is leading us, but takes each and every other person to understand the leadership and to understand that he's leading us, but we are also supposed to be leaders in one way or the other. We've talked about education and trainings. We can't put that aside. And we have to be more and more united. People, let's understand this. The person we are fighting is over 40 years in power. He has stood in state. He has enough state with him. Probably it's over, the army is there or what. Now everything is him. Everyone is there but him. So we have now to understand the junta and who we are fighting. We are aware of what is taking place, but we need now to be more and more united. We need all Ugandans to understand the cause. We need each and every person sensitized of what needs to be done. We cannot stand in this alone. We thank you for such mobilizations, but still we all together, all of us still have to do more and more to make Ugandans understand what is happening. No, we have a duty to make all Ugandans understand that wherever you are, no matter our continent, you have a duty to see that Uganda is free. So that's now our major role. And to see who are those forces, or who are those frontal forces that can come with NUP to liberate Uganda. Who is that other person worldwide to come and understand what Uganda is going through? Because there is that cosmic thinking that Uganda is free. Not everyone is understanding what can be done. So let's work together. No one will know Uganda. No one will know Mama. Mugambe Mukorande Uganda. Situka tutambule. Situka tutambule. Jangu tuelumele. Jangu tuelumele. Or talk to that other person that please stand up once again. Because the kind of struggle we are holding on is not a one-man struggle. It's not this other person to go for us, but we have to move together. Because of time, allow me to just remind you 2-3 things, and we check ourselves. Are they there? When we talk about characteristics of democracy, respect for basic human rights, do we still have any? Nothing. Talk about abductions. Talk about the failure to all even accept political settings to sit. We want to thank such countries that are moved on to embrace democracy, like US, that we can sit here as national unity platform and we discuss a way forward for Uganda. But my deputy president will testify. If we even have those traits, that then the secretariat finishes booking, we spend all the money, but you cannot even express yourself on a radio which you already paid for. You cannot use the ground that has already been supposed to be used and that we pay for. You cannot use it. You cannot have that freedom of expression. Are we still having those basic principles of human rights in this country? We are women leaders, but sometimes that you saw us in black bonuses demonstrating. We cannot hold function. We cannot we can't meet our constituents to talk to them. We can't meet the women. And we see how best someone is fearing that when Narina meets these women, they will get more and more enlightened. That's why I'm saying, please, let's never give up. And we are glad for the previous poem we've just had. Because this is our role together. We should not allow, but we need to sensitize each and every Ugandan. We look for those friendly forces. We look for everyone. And on the tunajisindikira wewamu. Tulina okusindika and not at any one time. Very tired. Kubanga we are here. If we give up, it will just rush back and hit us, and we shall all get down. So let's work together and see that we have our Uganda. We don't have any other home. We don't have any other country called home. We only have one Uganda. No matter what it takes, let's stand up and say that Museveni, the dictator, has to go and all his forces very far away, because we have to defend Uganda, we have to defend our country, we have to defend of who we are in this world. We want to thank you so much. We shall stand home, we shall be there, we shall get back home, and for us we are ready to see that we have a better country. Our role is to make each and every other person understand. But thanks to our president, thank you to you all who have made it and those who have not made it, but they are with us. We thank you for those encouraging messages you always give us. You push us. Please don't give up, because together we shall win. We are fighting the battle wherever they are. We look for space at Parliament, but we do our best. We are telling you, because we are aware of the problem, let's not change our focus, and let's not change guns. We understand some gaps in Nigeria, but let's not change guns. The biggest problem of Uganda, we are aware about it. Let's see that we focus to remove the problem. When we remove the problem, we shall have a new Uganda. We shall be there. I thank you. I thank you so much.
Our power. I love the energy in the room. DJ Ogoga Toya Taima Soke Kono Muziki. No mercy. Why not want to whole songs? Oh my. I remember we had a wonderful time at Providence in training Voice of Patriotism. It's going to take a few minutes. The president is on his way. But for now, we're going to have Honorable Kayemba Solo. It's going to be singing us in just a few minutes. But you guys don't know. That's when I love entertainment. People power. Our power. Honorable.
Thank you very much, my brother. Honorable a very old man, for a young man. You see, it's quite challenging to speak to the audience, which has people that are more educated than me, that have better experiences, and may do better English, because many is from Kiana. But I don't know who has to speak at this time. No option. I'm going to Kayemba Solo. I'm known as Manager Kayemba. I'm an artist manager. I have a record label that manages artists. And I'm also a FIFA certified football agent. My brother Amos will justify that. I'm one of the few people that have licenses in Africa to sell players worldwide. I've been here since this convention started. From Boston to LA to DC, now I'm here. I think I'm the only leader that I've been here always. The reason why I'm here is because of the power the diaspora people have to our struggle. I can say without you, we will move, but we will not move far as we have moved. Thank you very much. We all speak about tackling the problems. The previous speaker spoke about the problems here, on corruption, of injustices, illegal arrests, and all the things. But when we tackle the problem, the main problem as to how we are facing that is because we have a dictator Museveni. If you had a better leadership, you wouldn't be speaking about this. When we have these injustices, it's because we are trying to protect Museveni to stay in power. When we have illegal arrests and kidnaps, it's because people fear everyone that wants to touch the chair of Mr. Museveni. Corruption. Mr. Museveni is the leader of corruption in Uganda. You have the IGP who said that I should justice in the Uganda, who said that we never will go to get that person because we are in the party. You have a relative, you have a brother, you have related to the wife, who is the leader of corruption? Museveni. So we see all the corruption issues in Parliament and everywhere. But what I want to tell you is, we can give you all the things. If we take away the dictator, all the world will do it. I know the need after the election, which I said in so many ways, so that he just took over the power of the violence. Because the belief wanted to stay, we will stay the most very many. But what we did, we just took over and they said, now we're going to just announce me. I'm going to care, even if I've got 20%, they're going to announce me as the president. That was beyond vote reading. You remember the campaigns, how all happened, and they are the same things we are facing right now. Again, can we go and make a rally anywhere? Impossible. You saw the youth who wanted to come over and protest against the injustices in our country. You see how they are arrested. One of the ladies was pregnant, I don't know what happened to her. Others are still in prison up to now. That's the system, and that's the environment we are operating in the country. But what should we do? Should we withdraw? No. We have no option. We have to be resilient. We have to persevere. Because this is the only option we have to remove the dictator. How will we withdraw our children, our grandchildren, that we are there when we all these things we are doing? That's why I went to the program I was doing, and I said how to be and participate in this. Many people say, if the member of parliament, now we're okay, everything is okay. And there are people saying, now for you have positions for what? Who told you that MPs are the richest people in the country? Unless you were here. Actually, people who will do the same profession was who are recording labels, who are agents, are very, very, very rich people. Very, very rich. Parliament is only very few. And you can see that after people leave in Parliament, many of them will look at them and say, what happened to my brother? When you are there, you don't do okay. No one is safe. We are not in Parliament because we want the money, because unless you are here, it's not there. All the services that the government had to do with people, it failed. It's the MPs who want to do the work. It's the MPs who build an health center. And they don't know what we used to do. Nothing. But should we go and say, now, let me go and sell my prayers in money and leave this? My mother is in Chiamuku. There is no any single health center in that sub-county. A problem can come anytime where we should go. If I say, really those things. So I want to thank you all for giving us shoulders to for pushing us always to have a better country. I'm sure we have it. In a country where everyone is accountable, everyone wins. Should I repeat that? In a country where everyone is accountable, everyone wins. In a country where we come from in Uganda, not everyone is accountable. That's why you see, it always looks out. As I'm finishing, because according to me, I was spoken too much English. So as I'm concluding, we all know the story of the Israelites. How they left Egypt, remember that journey. It's in the Bible. It was the whole world. All that I wanted to face even. Remember, when we someone, they say, they know Moses, where are you taking us? Where you got us from? We are in prison, we are hungry, but we used to get food. We used to get water. We are here suffering. Take us back into prison. Where? That's the things you are facing. Those are the brothers, musicians, sisters who have been moving together, and at the end of the day, they turn back to the dictator. But when that stopped the Israelites from reaching the promised land, no. I want to give you hope. It's not the eating mandas all over Uganda. It's a hustle. Taking away the people that have spent 40 years. It is too much commitment. And it also needs motivation. Because at times you start on your own and you say, no, what are you going to do? If you don't get a phone call from a friend, you might end up dying in your own house, or going somewhere and you seek for it anyway. So that's why we thank you. And whenever we look at all responses on social media, because social media now is strong, it's better than that of the mainstream media. So whenever we see you, we appreciate it. But again, as good as social media has done us, but at times it's also done us bad. Because of the dictator is trying to use it. People like us put on a regular like our friend has done. They remember. Some people do the same. The dictator does the same. People speak in their way, they do their way so that people can get rid of anything. But probably mismanagement is better than that. Those who do that will remain there, and we shall go and reach the promised land. Thank you very much. And I never say again, from Romasi, Southwest my constituency, and the shadow minister for sports. People power. Our power. Now, resume President.
Please, I'm not saying thank you so much, Honorable, for that wonderful communication. Well, please do not lose hope. Let us not be the Israelites who are blaming Moses. Let us not, be the Israelites who are blaming Moses. Martin Luther King reminds us that the arc of moral is long, but it bends towards justice. Change takes a long time, but it eventually happens. Doesn't matter how long, we must continue pushing without losing hope. Change is coming. Allow me to invite Professor Alimani to take the stage. Our power, people power, everywhere. The exceptional Professor Alimani. Uganda way. Nup way. People power. Bobby Wine. Museveni Z. Muhoozi Z. So brothers and sisters, normally I like speaking without notes, but I decided to draw down a few things because I don't want to forget any point today. I want to start first of all, let's give a round of applause to Ugandan President Bobby Wine for his new degree. As somebody who's been teaching at college for 8 years, I cherish education and books. It's never too late to keep learning new things that is going to help us in the struggle for our liberation. So he has a degree in law now. So, you know, you could do a lot of things with law. Mandela had a degree in law. And Mandela, of course, led the ANC. Mandela is famous and identified with nonviolence, right? Which is the correct approach. But Mandela always said, we cannot close all doors. How many people of you know that Mandela actually, after his law degree, went and trained with the FNL in Algeria? So he wanted to have all the skills and options available to him. That's the same Mandela that we celebrate for nonviolence, right? But Mandela wanted to be prepared for all options. Somebody else had a law degree. How many people know that Fidel Castro had a law degree? If you Google and you go back further, Fidel, there was a time he only wore a suit and tie with his law degree. But Fidel always kept another option available in case he needed to use that option, right? So, I am saying this because I want the regime to be afraid of people with law degrees. That's why I'm bringing this point up. Our president is well equipped now. He has many options, and whichever option is appropriate is the one that is going to lead to our liberation. Obviously, the option that we prefer is peaceful, legitimate, non-violence, but as we all know, the Constitution allows us many legitimate options. Let's always remember that. Bobby Wine, the most remarkable thing that he has done, the best gift to Uganda, is resurrecting hope. A few weeks ago here in this country, my many friends in the democratic establishment were panicking, they were worried. They saw that debate with Trump, and then they said, oh, look, this president has done so well for this country, Biden, but he's a bit tired now because aid catches up with you. So they didn't know what to do. They were hopeless. And then Biden did the right thing. He stepped aside and he endorsed Kamala Harris. And hope was revived overnight. I'm telling you, in Uganda, Bobby Wine revived hope when he was elected to parliament. When he was elected to parliament, everybody that he went and he tapped on the shoulder was elected. Yes. Remember? Yes. The famous election in Arua, when the dictator himself went to campaign for his candidate, and the dictator's candidate was defeated by Bobby Wine, and the candidate endorsed by Bobby Wine. That's when the dictator realized his days were numbered, and his days are still numbered. I want to talk about the importance of communicating with our sisters and brothers in the armed forces.
They are not our enemies. They're just as much as victims as well. No, it's true. They're victims, even though they do commit atrocities against our people. Let me give you an example. My late sister, Barbara, many of you know her from her contribution in the struggle. May she rest in peace. So she told me that as the soldiers were grabbing her, shoving her left and right, and throwing her in the vehicle, at the same time they were telling her, sister, we're with you. Sister, we're with you. Please, keep doing this. Keep struggling. Keep fighting. At the right time, those sisters and brothers in the armed forces will not only be saying we're with you, they will actually demonstrate it in practice. So let's keep talking to them. Let's keep reminding them that you are paid with our taxpayer money. Please do the right thing. When they give you illegitimate orders, refuse. Don't rape our young men and women. These are your sisters and brothers. Keep talking to them. Keep talking to them. The vice president, the deputy president, will tell you from her own experience that talking to these people, it does make them think. And when we have a number of them acting at the same time, then it will be overwhelming and they will join in the right side of the struggle. I want to say another point about the importance of unity. Museveni hates this party because it has the word unity in it. South Africa, how did a small population of 10% Europeans control that country for centuries and then for decades? After apartheid became the policy in 1948, divide and rule. Museveni practices ethnic apartheid. One part of the country against the other. That is what he's doing right now. Trying to turn parliament into the next electoral college so that it can be elected by parliament. We must refuse to be divided. I urge all of us to remain united. Even if you have petty differences, suspend that difference for now until we defeat this monster in Uganda. Then you can get back to your small struggles. But for the time being, we need, ultimately, what brought down apartheid in South Africa, even before the election of Mandela, they had a united democratic movement. Everybody came together. Student unions, trade unions, women's organizations, youth organizations, all the political parties came together. They said, let's get this monster of apartheid out of the way, and then we can contest among ourselves. I strongly urge us to do the same thing in Uganda. Let me now talk about corruption as my final point, and then I want to invite a very good friend of Uganda, Professor Rangandu. I'm going to invite him in a few minutes, but let me just give me just 3 minutes or so. Speak about corruption in Uganda. First, I want all of you to go to your app and go to Google and put DOJ and Museveni. D for David, O for Orange, J for Justice. That's the United States Department of Justice. DOJ and Museveni. And you're going to see a link. Open that link. Because some of you don't know about the story of corruption involving U.S. Museveni. And he doesn't want the world to get Museveni. Open that link and read that press release of the Department of Justice. You remember when Sam Kutesa became the president of the General Assembly of the United Nations? I launched a campaign on social media to try to block him, because it's part of the dictatorial regime in Uganda. We got about 15,000 people voting on the petition, but he was still confirmed as the president in 2014. And he was celebrated. He met my brother, who works in the UN, and said, oh, go tell your brother I'm doing a good job. Tell him to stop working against me. He gave the message to my brother. So he celebrated. I had also done a story on Black Star about how Kutesa, through his private company, NS, got a contract with the UN, without telling the UN that was his company. And he got $30 million out of that contract over a 5-year period. Money, illegitimate money. So I exposed that story, but what did the UN do? They went and they disabled the links leading to the invoices. So they protected Kutesa because it's the new president of the General Assembly. But when I did the story of corruption, I also sent it to the Department of Justice. I didn't know that they would do anything with it. Kumbe, what they did, they started tapping Kutesa's phone and listening to his conversation. He was talking to a gentleman named Patriotism, but he was also speaking to Museveni. And they are plotting how to steal more money. Ultimately, Ho, a Chinese national, offered a bribe of $1 million. And it's on that press release that I told you to read. And then Ho made a mistake. The bribe for $1 million, it sounds like a small amount. Yes, it's small, but it was only to open the door. Step number 2, they were going to have a joint company between a Chinese company called CFC and Kutesa's family and Museveni's family. In return, they were going to get oil concessions and be allowed to buy banks and also tourism. Ho made a big mistake. He wired half of the money, $500,000, using a U.S. bank in New York. And that is how the United States got jurisdiction over this case. People have been wondering, hey, why was it tried in the U.S.? Because they used a U.S. bank. Museveni was a bit more cautious. He told Patrick, no, don't wire my money. Bring it physically to Uganda. So he invited Patrick to come to the 2016 inauguration after his stole the election from Dr. President. So Ho wrapped $500,000 as a gift and flew to Uganda and delivered that money to Museveni. Museveni has never denied receiving that $500,000 in cash. Why? Because he knows the FBI was listening to his conversation with Kutesa. And the minute he denies it, they may make that conversation available. But any journalist who's willing to take a risk in Uganda, ask the dictator, did you ever receive $500,000 in cash as a buyer? Of course, I recommend you stand at a good distance before you ask that question. So, I say this to remind you that now when he's talking about Anita must resign, Museveni must resign. The fish is rotten. Anita is the tail of the fish. We cannot get rid of the tail of the fish and maintain the rotten or rough head of the fish, which is dictator and Lord Museveni. He must be out. Muhoozi must be out. And the party and the man who won the election in 2021 must be in so we can create a new Uganda in Uganda. Let me now invite my good brother, Professor Ron Daniels, the founder of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century, the convener of Pan-African Unity Dialogue, which is a conglomeration of African-based, African-American Caribbean organizations. We meet quarterly, digitally in recent years since COVID, but in the past it was in person. And we've also invited in the past Secretary General Lewis has joined us in the past, and Dr. Kawuma has also joined us in the past on these meetings. A good friend of Africa who organized today's trip to Operation Rainbow Push to meet with Reverend Jackson. Unfortunately, due to his health condition, we could not meet him in person, but we met all of his staff and Reverend Williams, who actually runs the organization on a day-on-day basis. A round of applause for Professor Ron Daniels.
All right. Big round of applause for Dr. Milton Alamani. He's on his way to the hallowed halls of Howard University. Yes. He's a teacher, but he's getting to go back to get an even additional degree in history, even though he already knows that history. But they're going to put some credentials on him. Well, let me say that it's an honor to be here again at the Diaspora Convention of the National Unity Platform. I had the honor to be at your convention last year, I think it was, at Crystal City, if you will. And it was an inspiring moment for me because I've been working on these issues most of my adult life, and I heard Professor Amadi talk about, Biden and, age catches up with folk. Well, I don't know about Biden, but they ain't catching up with me. See, in the U.S., some of you would not know about this necessarily on the African continent, but there are equivalents. But sisters and brothers in the United States know about something called geritol. So I take a good objection to geritol. Keep this 82-year-old body working and moving forward, all right? So I want to bring greetings on behalf of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century and the Pan-African Unity Dialogue, which Professor Amadi has talked about. And I want you to go, and I want you to put this into, I want you to be consistently connected with IBW21.org, IBW21.org. You should sign up for the newsletter so you can constantly be connected with the work that we're doing all over the world. I also want you to take note of something called the Black World Media Network. The Black World Media Network that Professor Amadi provides commentary for. It is a legacy project of one of the great revolutionaries of our time. If you don't know him, you can Google him. His name is Don Rojas. Don Rojas was the press secretary for Maurice Bishop of the People's Revolutionary Government of Grenada. So when I hear you say, for whatever was the slogan, it was the mantra of the People's Revolutionary Government of Grenada. One of the great revolutions in the Caribbean that got squashed through internal conflict, and we should learn from that, but also because the United States was fearful that the small island nation of 100,000 people was going to be the English-speaking Cuba in the Caribbean, and so they squashed it. But truth will rise again. So now in Grenada we have emerging new leadership. But Don Rojas was the press secretary for Maurice Bishop, and he has created something called Black World Media Network, which is 24/7 positive music, the kind of music and the kind of artistry that our dear beloved president puts out there, spits out, as they say in hip-hop world, if you will, from all over the world, not just the U.S., but also commentaries that help to connect the Pan-African world. So we want you to download the app, and we want you to take an opportunity to listen to that. Now I have 3 points that I want to make today to this great gathering. And I said it last year, I will say it again this year. You are incredibly important. The National Unity Platform is incredibly important, not only to yourselves as people of Uganda, you are incredibly important to the entire Pan-African world. And beyond that, you are important to the whole world. Because what we need, and I can say that this is someone who has waged these struggles for most of my life. I was one of the founders of African Liberation Day in the United States of America. Fought hard with the Free South African movement, all of these different movements. I was in the forefront of them for many years. because we wanted to liberate ourselves from the greatest Holocaust in human history, the transatlantic slave trade, followed by colonialism, and now followed by neo-colonialism, perpetrated by Europeans who wanted to conquer the world and keep us as their slaves. We've been fighting against that. And indeed, there were leaders in Africa who rose up, including Mismanagement initially, who fought back against the colonial rule. The problem is, the struggle was not just to replace a white face with a black face. Let me say that again. The struggle was not about replacing a black face with a white face in order to perpetuate oppression. It was really to achieve liberation. And what has fallen short in the African continent is many of the African leaders, not all of them, achieved the first phase. It's called national liberation. But very few of them have gone on to hear what Malino Nyeri and Sekou Touré and others talk about in terms of achieving national reconstruction, the total decolonization, the total de-urbanization of the African mind, or what Bob Marley would say, none but our minds will free us. And so what we have, unfortunately, in the African continent, throughout the African world, the Caribbean, even in the United States of America, are too many bankrupt, self-aggrandizing, corrupt leaders who are sitting on the resources of the people while the people are starving, the people are hungry. There's no way in the world that any African anywhere in the world should be hungry and poverty, given the fact that Africa is the richest continent on the face of the earth. No African anywhere should be hungry. But what that means is we need new leadership. We need principled leadership. We need visionary leadership, and leadership that is progressive. And that's what Bobby Wine and the National Unity Platform represent. You represent progressive Pan-Africanism. And it's personified by Bobby Wine, who is visionary, who's courageous. But here's the key thing. He is a servant leader. Let me say that again. We must aspire to be servant leaders. I like reluctant leaders. You know, you see some people that they're just hungry. They want power so bad. I don't like those kind of leaders. That's a danger sign. But when someone says, oh, I'm not sure I want to do this, I don't think I'm the right person, or when you have the person that's in power and they're there and they say, oh no, it's really not about me and it's about, I want to share, and you know you have someone. Because they're really about people power, for real. Because at the end of the day, we do not need to worship a person. We are about representing principles. That are personified in a person, if you will. So that's what Bobby Wine represents. That's why all of you, I really mean it. One of the things that we talked about, and Professor Amadi talked about, is the whole question of keeping, of stimulating hope. That's what the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, who we visited with today, we had an interview yesterday. We talked about the fact that these United States of America, even under apartheid in the South, I mean, people were brutalized in these United States of America. We were disoriented, disorganized. We were fighting, but we needed more people to have hope. Reverend Jesse Jackson is one of those who helped to give hope to masses of black people across this country. And that's what we see happening on the African continent today. Because of you. It is not only that people are inspired in Uganda, they're being inspired all over the African continent. We have a new leader, 44 years old, in Senegal, the youngest leader on the African continent in Senegal right now. Young leaders. It is your time. In fact, the Francis Leon said that each generation out of relative obscurity must discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. You are fulfilling your mission. And so my second point quickly is that we want, and let me just quickly say that we have to visit with the Rainbow Push today. And let me just, oh, here's my vice president down. I was wondering where she is. And boy, you're deputy vice president. Oh, I can stay now. We can hang out together. I'm coming to for her. She's bad. Yeah. We had a great time. I'm going to say that the award that Bobby Wine, because words are important, it was presented to Bobby Wine for your vision, courage, and leadership in keeping hope alive, the promise of an authentic, people-based democracy in Uganda, with human rights and dignity for all. That's what the proclamation says. So let me move to my next 2 points quickly. And the next point is, we need our sisters and brothers from the continent.
Please have your seats. Please have your seats. We will continue with the program and then we will give the fatherings after. Please, thank you.
All right, so let me hurry up here now. Mr. President, we just got finished talking about you as our servant leader. Number 2, it is important, sisters and brothers, to connect with the global black diaspora. Let me say that again. I want you to be intentional about connecting with your African American sisters and brothers all over the United States of America. That's important. First of all, you gotta understand that you're coming into this country. We talked about this earlier. And Fannie Lou Hamer said this: always remember where you came from and honor the bridges that brought you over. There was a bitter, bloody struggle fought in this country to pave the way so that there would be less discrimination in a racist society. Now, we're not finished. White supremacy is still alive in the world in America, but it's a hell of a lot better than it used to be. So that therefore people can come across that bridge, be here, and can share rights. And you need to honor that. But more important than honoring that, if we're talking about Pan-Africanism everywhere, we cannot have Caribbeans and Afro-Latinos and African-Americans and Continental Africans in the same space who are not connected to each other. We have to have Pan-Africanism right here. We have to create black power and Pan-Africanism together. Why? It's not just sentimental. We have the ability to influence U.S. policy. We have the ability to elect people to office. You should be in a position to exercise power here as well as power back in Uganda as well. So I want you to be intentional about it. We want to help you with that from community to community to make sure. So it's good to be out here, you know, and down here in the international airport, but I was telling Brother Kalumba, you know, next time we get together, we could be on the south side. Yep. That's where the brothers and sisters are, on the south side. We could have went to the Salmon Museum. We could have went to a number of different places, right? And intentionally make those connections. My last point is this. You also have to exercise, I already began to say it, you have to exercise power here as well. Do you realize that the continental African community, including those with the National Unity Platform, those of you who are voters, if you are resident and have the ability to register, you need to register and vote. Yay! You know why? Because you can make the difference in terms of whether it's the orange man, aka Agent Orange, that, I don't even want to put his name in my mouth, You can be the difference between whether that he wins and what he represents, or the new America is represented. You could be the difference. And so you can't just sit back and look at Kamala rising, everybody having, no, you need to get up in there and march on ballot boxes, arm in arm with your African-American brothers and sisters, our Latino brothers, our Asian, Native Americans, white sisters and brothers. March on ballot boxes to purge the American system of the scourge of the orange man and modernism. You have the power to do that. So brothers and sisters, as I take my seat, and I apologize if I may have to leave a little early. I've been working very hard up early yesterday morning, all day yesterday, working all day today. I got to hop onto a plane to get back. But I want to say that we love you. Don't forget how important you are. You are the future. We need you to rise up, to continue to rise up, and do what Marcus Garvey said. Up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. And when he said will, he means having the will, the strength, the audacity, the courage, like our vice president. Lord, our president, our deputy vice president. Yes, sister. Come on. Up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. People power. People power. People power. You just continue on.
Give it another big applause. Another big applause. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. We are inspired by so many things about you. Your presentation, your age, your experience, and we are humbly as a generation extremely humbled that we have you amidst us to give us all that advice. Please add him another congrats and clap and for accepting to identify with us. It is not easy to identify, to work with a group of people that are doing the extreme, fighting a military dictatorship. Sometimes it swings, move even to the free world. But having you, sir, we are extremely humbled, and we look forward to liberating Uganda when you are still alive. Without further ado, I wish to report that Mr. President, we started on Friday, and we have moved to this time, Thursday, and we have moved to this time. Thursday was the arrivals. We have moved to this time. We started with sports. We have moved through the sessions on Friday. This morning, we had lectures also with the young people to develop the future. We can not only maintain today, but also look at the young ones. It is very important. Whatever we are doing, Mr. President, is for the future, not for us. And as I was lecturing the young people, I picked something that I will share with you. They said that this is the motivational stage of the revolution. Therefore, whatever everybody is doing, we should do it knowing that we are motivating the world to liberate Uganda. So let's take this as the motivation stage, and that came from the young ones. Give the young ones another thunderstruck. Yes. They have identified this as a motivational stage, and for me, that was very, very, very important and inspiring. Indeed, we all must motivate each other to remain on course to overthrow the status quo of the military dictatorship back home. And with that and those words, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this singular honor, invite Dr. Kauma, our able president of the diaspora. We want to thank him for his organizational abilities. For you who are attending these conferences, I think you are seeing an improvement on organization, on direction, and systems. I know systems with us, they always take long to trickle in. But I want to thank your stance. You're a man of your word. You're a man who really makes, if you feel something is right, you'll go on with it. I saw it yesterday in you when we had to take very critical decisions and you stood by the right decision. We are humbled by your leadership and God bless you. God give you the abundance of life to see the sweat of your fight.
People power. People power.
DJ Tuwe Akaimba. Afeni afeano President alimuchizende wanani.
People power. People power. Kunga Diaspora kunga. Kunga Chicago kunga. Kunga Boston kunga. Kunga Texas kunga. Kunga Seattle kunga. Kunga Minnesota kunga.
Thank you everyone, thank you.
On behalf of the Nup Diaspora chapter,
I would like to welcome our President. I welcome our Secretary General, David Lewis, our Leader of Opposition, Honorable Joe Senyonyi, our Vice President, Northern Uganda Region, Dr. Lina Zedriga, our Members of Parliament, and all distinguished guests. Protocol is observed. I would like to assure you, our leaders, that the state of the diaspora is strong. The diaspora is strong. We are continuing to grow. We are continuing to organize ourselves. And we are in a stronger position today to support our party in Uganda to get rid of Mismanagement. I want to point out some of our successes this last year. We have got the most sanctions against the Museveni regime leaders this last year. The Speaker of Parliament cannot step in the United States, Anita Moore. She cannot step in United Kingdom. Other ministers cannot do the same of the Museveni regime, and it's not because we don't want our brothers and sisters to be able to travel, but it's because we are asking for accountability. Because back home, we no longer have any levers that can hold corrupt regime leaders accountable. Parliament is broken. And the only lifeline we have in Parliament is our opposition, our leader of opposition here and his team. That's the only lifeline we have in Parliament. Because Parliament is supposed to be the people's house, but it no longer reflects or represents the voices of the people. Look at the judiciary. It's broken. We have innocent young men and women. Actually, there was an example. Innocent man, humble man, and he's dragged into the military court. And the judiciary is silent. So you cannot count on the judiciary. Olivia Lutaya,
and her colleagues, and many others, they have been in military detention without trial for over 4 years. Over 4 years. So you can't trust Parliament. You can't trust the judiciary. You can't even trust our elections. Because sometimes, if Parliament can't do the job, if the judiciary can't do the job, then you say, you know what, when we get the ballot, we're going to hold the regime accountable. But even the ballot has been taken away from the Ugandan people. So what do we do? What do we do to hold the regime accountable? And that's why, as a diaspora, we have made a decision that we have to go after these leaders to make sure that corruption stays in their districts. We are going to make sure that every person involved in corruption, in the abuse of human rights, as far as the diaspora is concerned, we demand accountability from stakeholders that either knowingly or unknowingly finance these leaders. We have the World Bank, we have the IMF, we have the US government, the European Union, and others. They send aid, they give loans to the regime, but we want to make sure that taxpayers in the diaspora understand that each dollar they give to their governments sometimes contributes to Olivia Lutaya being in jail for 4 years without accountability. That every dollar that taxpayers give in Europe, in UK and other countries contributes to the arrest and abduction of Achille and others, either knowingly or unknowingly. That's the duty of the diaspora, and that's what we have been doing the last year, and I encourage all of you, let's keep fighting, let's keep that spirit to make sure that as a diaspora we do our part. Our job in the diaspora is to level the playing field so that our brothers and sisters in Uganda can have a fighting chance. So let's organize. Let's organize in the diaspora, which we have done well this year. Let's mobilize by growing our chapters. And I've always mentioned this, that our duty as opposition, leaders and supporters, is not to preach to the choir. We need to find the people who are on the fence, the people who are not converted to our message, and try to bring them in this room. The opposition has to be a big tent organization and movement. We don't discriminate whether on gender or race or tribe. Everyone is welcome as long as they believe in our mission to liberate our country. So I implore you, my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, that we need to be welcoming. Whether we're on social media, whether we are on media outlets, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we talk to individuals, we need to be welcoming. We need to listen to what other people think. Why are they on the fence? Because every Ugandan in the diaspora is here because they couldn't get a job back home, they couldn't get a good education, or any other reason that brings it here. It's because of the challenges we are facing back home. So the question is, if they know that there's a lot of suffering back home, that they lack job opportunities, why are they not in this room? Why are they not joining the movement? So that's the question we need to ask ourselves, that how do we grow our tent so that those individuals know that the root cause of their suffering, the root cause of unemployment is because of Museveni and his family. That's our challenge. We have our sister from Kenya. She has been in this struggle for a long time. We have many people who believe in because the message of change is not unique to Uganda. It's a message that motivates many other members in the world and in Africa. So we need to be welcoming to our brothers and sisters all across the continent of Africa. That's why we need to continue to expand the tent of our party. We need to be welcoming to everyone. And before I wrap up my points, the theme we chose is Envisioning a new Uganda. And the reason why we chose that theme is many people have been saying that we want Museveni to go, but they have been asking, what do you stand for after Museveni is gone? At this conference, starting yesterday, where we heard from the diaspora presented ideas on what they want the new Uganda to look like. And today we are going to hear from our leaders from Uganda to tell us what that new Uganda is going to look like. Whether you're looking about healthcare, whether you're talking about the economy, when you're talking about human rights, we want to know that what is the National Unity Platform going to do to turn around the lives of 45 million Ugandans who are suffering, who have no health care, who lack an education, who lack job opportunities. That they feel that the road to success is to get a visa and go to the Middle East, to get a visa to come to the United States, to get a visa to come to Europe, because they feel that their life is hopeless, that they don't have hope. That's what we are here to do, to show them that those opportunities can be created in Uganda. And I guarantee you, the only party, the only movement which has the answers to our economic struggles, to corruption, to human rights, to fixing our judiciary, to fixing parliament, the only party which is doing that, which is leading that fight, is the National Unity Platform. And the leader, every party needs a leader. Every movement needs a leader. And the leader who has shown us the way. The leader who we believe in. The leader who has shown that he can make tough decisions. And it doesn't matter for his president, if you are his friend, if you fail to ibikorwa byo abantu babira muki. The only leader who has shown us that we have to lead by example has been President Robert Sentamu. So comrades, I had a lot to say, but I know we have a long weekend. I want to take this opportunity to invite our Secretary General of the National Unity Platform, David Lewis, and he's going to tell us what does the National Unity Platform stand for. When we talk about a new Uganda, what does that vision look like? So we understand that we are not here only to fight for Museveni to leave, we are here to improve the lives of our brothers and sisters. Thank you, Secretary General, for the work you are doing, for your leadership, for all the changes that have been made in our party, and I'm looking forward to listening to his message, and I want all of you to stand up and give him a big round of applause. Welcome, Secretary General.
Thank you very much. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. President Wanga kusokemu. Adui na adui. Adui adui nani, adui Museveni. Adui nani, adui Museveni. nani? People power tusonge mbele na bidii. 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 People power. You can take your seats. Mr. President, Deputy President, the leader of our parliamentary team, the Honorable George Senyoni, the leader of our diaspora team and your deputy, of course the chapter leader of the Chicago chapter. Very importantly, very delighted to see you, Dr. Daniels, and of course Professor Milton Alimadi. We are always delighted to have you at all these events, and we take the advice and everything. So my task is really to talk about what kind of Uganda are we looking at. The theme of this convention is envisioning a new Uganda. Envisioning a new Uganda. Envisioning a new Uganda. Envisioning a new Uganda presupposes that we are in the old Uganda today. And we want to go into a new Uganda. And so that means that we will have to work very hard. And I want to salute every single one of you who is working extremely hard to see that we get from this point to the next point. Because right now where we are is not where we want to be. When we say that we are talking about a new Uganda, it means that the Uganda we have today is not the Uganda we want to be in. It's not the Uganda we want to be in. And yesterday, we were very glad to receive people who commented, who presented here. They were talking about the different things that define the current Uganda that we're in. The human rights violations, enforced disappearances, taking people out from their land and not compensating them, and so many other problems that they talked about. And so for us, our main mission as a national unity platform under the leadership of our president is to usher Uganda, the current Uganda we have, into a new Uganda. And so we want to cross over from this Uganda to the next Uganda. But before I go into that, I want to appreciate you, comrades of the diaspora, for the great work. I want to appreciate you. You guys challenge us. You guys challenge us. Today, your leaders were telling us about the average cost that you put in to come for these conventions. And it is indeed a sacrifice. For you to sacrifice and come here and spend your time and spend money means that you really have Uganda at heart and you have the National Unity Platform at heart. I am always on calls with several members of the diaspora. And I know how busy it is. I know how busy life in America is and the demands on your time. But when you're called upon to go and demonstrate, you go there and demonstrate. When you're called upon to give to the party, you are able to support the party. When you're called upon to support the cause in one or the other, you are always there. Every time they abduct somebody, they arrest somebody, sometimes before even we in Uganda have posted about it, you see thousands of posts from the diaspora, people demanding. So that is why we are here to salute you, comrades in the diaspora. Thank you so much for the great work that you do. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do matters. Like the President mentioned in the message which I was reading earlier in the message in the program, these small acts which all of us do contribute greatly. Dr. Kama has been talking about the sanctions. You might have protested on one day and forgot about it. But it's that time when you went out in the winter on the streets to protest that resulted into those sanctions. So I want to encourage you to continue protesting, to continue speaking out, because that works. We in Uganda have been able to achieve different things. I had Dr. Kaoma boasting, we've all been able to also achieve different things. That's the best party in the whole country, Uganda. And you know that. which we achieved this year. And we have, of course, established offices in the different parts of the country. We have been able to have different policy alternatives. We have set up Kunga committees in the different parts of the country. Comrade Kaluya, I didn't introduce you because you sat on that side. But this gentleman is our mobilization secretary for Eastern Uganda. And there is a lot of work going on in mobilization, trying to mobilize the country. And of course, under the good leadership of our Honorable Senyoni and our brother Waiswa, we are doing great with communications and media. Yesterday, someone called Waiswa a general because he has fought many battles in one day, apparently. Media battles and other battles. Under our legal and human rights department, you've seen our lawyers every day moving up and down, different jails, different courts, different places to fight for our people. I don't know if our brother Nubian is in here, but under his department, arts, culture and sports, you've seen us do sports activities in the different parts of the country. And we are determined to do all that because we want to continue mobilizing, we want to continue speaking out to the people. The other day, we were supposed to have our 4-year celebration as a national unity platform. And then these people say they are using Kololo, although even today there was a function, a big function at the same place, because they fear, they think that when NUP people gather at Kololo, maybe they will not leave. They are afraid of us. They know that we are women and men on a mission. So, when we're talking about 4 years, I was having a discussion with the president, and I said even at the press that day that I thought the most important achievement we've been able to achieve in these 4 years of NUP is awakening the people of Uganda. And I gave an example of that young man you see, who all of you saw. You remember see in the studio? Where else would you see get the guts, the audacity, the effrontery to get concerned about what is happening in the country? But thanks to our president and his message, now every time you go to the border state, they are talking about their country. Every time you go to Echilombe, Echamanda, Oba, Echabloka, Bagaya, Echilombe, Echabloka, Oba, Matofana. Oba, when you go to Webokeza Magala, Amanda, Wagaitachi, Chokero Chamanda. So, every time you go to those places, Kaparaga and Mantuya is there. Uganda was so welcoming, and I'm better than I used to be. Every time you go to those places, people are talking about politics, people are talking about their country. So that has been the main achievement of the National Unity Platform and the People Power Movement. That right now, every time someone tries to drag people into a useless conversation, even in the comments on social media, people will be talking about political prisoners, people will be talking about the country, people will be talking about what has gone wrong with our country. So that is the most important thing. So ladies and gentlemen, of course we've been able to achieve many things. I want to report to you, ladies and gentlemen, that this year and last year, we had the nationwide tour. And the nationwide tour took us to Angola in Barara, and people received Musimuzi in their thousands. The people of Angola came out and showed a lot of love to the president, and recently, of course, in other parts, Isingiro and other places in Angola. In Tungamo, you saw what was going on there. We were in Acholi at some point, in Dokolo and other parts, and you saw how people received the message of change. We were in Musoga, Abasoga Muniwa. Yeah, we were in Jinja and those places, and thanks to the people of Musoga, they are still saying enough is enough. We went to Busia, and Busia broke its own record. But before then, we also were in Mayuge. In Mayuge is also in Musoga. But when we went to Busia, the people of Busia said we are going to tugenda kumwaga za kajanja. So went to Bugisu in Mbale, and you saw what was going on in Mbale. We went to Arua in West Nile. Mama, our before Angili. And the people of West Nile received us with great joy. We are in Karamoja, and we are going back to Karamoja and Teso because some of our activities were blocked. We were in Lira, in Lango, and all of you saw the vibe in Lira. We went to Kabale, where the regime thought they had a strong footprint, but they couldn't measure up. They tried to block us, and we broke the blockages and talked to the people of Kabale. We are in Unero, in Hoima, we were in Fort Poto, in Toro, we were in Kasese, in Rwenzori, and very recently and very profoundly, we were in Masaka, in Uganda. Yeah. So the revolutionary faith has continued moving all across the country, and it is our intention, ladies and gentlemen, to reach everywhere with a message of change. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about how do we envision the new Uganda. And some of the things, every time we lift this fist, we call this a fist fight. The fist fight. It's just symbolic of what we stand for. What do we want a new Uganda to look like? And the first point, ladies and gentlemen, is to have democracy, respect for democracy, the rule of law, and human rights. That is the first. When we talk about the fist fight, there are 5 critical points that we want to bring about in Uganda. We want to put an end to the humiliation of the people of Uganda. The humiliation. All of you know how Ugandans are humiliated every single day. You saw recently what happened to our brother Achireo. How they picked him up, beat him up, humiliated him, and brought him the following day, planted military pips at his house, and right now. The second point is inclusive economic development. Inclusive economic development. Previously, they used to say we shall not wait for Karamoja to develop. And we are saying that is wrong. We want the whole country to develop. We do not want only sections of the population to develop. We do not want northern Uganda to be left behind. We do not want parts of Teso to be left behind. We want inclusive economic development. We want development for every single person. Because every person in Uganda pays taxes, but those taxes benefit only a few. And we want to put an end to that. We want to make sure that the money which the people of Uganda contribute in taxes helps them equally across the board. We want every Ugandan to have a fair chance, a fair opportunity. Whether you're born in Karamoja, whether you're born in Teso, whether you're born in Ankole, we want a government which gives fair chance to each of these individuals to succeed. We want a child who goes to a school in Usoga to have the same opportunity as someone, as a child who goes to a school in Barara or wherever. And that is why we talk about inclusive economic development. In terms of the mineral resources, we want these mineral resources to support the people of Uganda, not just a few individuals. So we want inclusive economic development. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, quality public services. You all know what is going on in our hospitals. You all know what is going on in our schools. Children are studying under trees. There is no access to medication in our country because they know that when they get sick, they will be on the next flight out of Uganda to some place to get treatment. You guys know how many Ugandan officials have died from Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. You can imagine. Why? Because at Mulago they cannot get those services. Not that they trust Mulago itself. They don't trust it for 2 reasons. Because of lack of equipment and all that, but also because of the sense of fear and insecurity in the country, they don't trust their own system. So that's why they have to run away to get treatment elsewhere. So ladies and gentlemen, we want to have equal access to quality public services, especially healthcare and education. Because like the Lord said yesterday, Mandela told us education is the most important, powerful weapon you can use to change the world. So if we want to develop our country, we must invest in education. We must invest in healthcare. Some people, ignorantly ask MEP where we stand. They think that policy is something that is very complex. And we have been telling them that even if we have the money which Museveni has, the same amount of money they use, it is just a matter of putting that money where Ugandans are. Just changing the priorities. The 3 trillion shillings they spend in classified expenditure every year, that money can improve the lives of our people. The money that we lose through corruption, more than 10 trillion every year, is enough to construct very good roads for our country, Uganda. So we are saying that let's change our priorities. It is Thomas Sankara who said that we must make a decision whether to have champagne for a few or clean water for all. And so, for us as a nationalist platform, we believe that we shouldn't have champagne for a few. We should have clean water for every single Ugandan. And that clean water, you can put it in other sectors. The other thing we talk about, number 4, is land, agriculture, and natural resources. I already talked about land, land grabbing. We want Ugandans to own their land and to feel secure. We want to put an end to land grabbing. Yes. We want to put an end to this situation where people are just chased off their land without compensation. We want to make sure that we develop, because right now people are not sure. You heard what has happened with ECOP and how many people have been displaced and all that. So we want people to have security of tenure. RDCs now can wake up on a day as they wish and tell you to leave your land. And you don't have anywhere to go. You go to courts of law, a case takes 20 years in the court system. If you don't have money, that is the situation we have in our country. So that is one other thing that we are very passionate about. I talked about agriculture and natural resources. We want Uganda's oil to benefit the people of Uganda. We want Uganda's gold to benefit the people of Uganda. Uganda's diamond, everything that is Uganda, we want them to benefit the people of Uganda. And finally, under democracy and human rights, one of the aspects I did talk about was building strong institutions. Our President Chagulanyi does not believe in being a strong man, but in being able to build strong institutions. That's why in NUP you see different leaders, and that's why the diaspora is able to function the way it functions, because we want the diaspora to be an independent and strong institution, not coming in every day to say, do this, do that, do the other. And that does not mean that we do not consult each other, we consult each other, but we want to build strong institutions. Finally, security and international relations, that is number 5. We believe that security does not mean absence of war, but security means justice. Security means equal opportunity. Security means equality. Security means where the citizens of Uganda are at peace with themselves and the country is at peace with its neighbors. So we want to bring about security that is lasting. But we shall not achieve all these. All these are grand ideas which we cannot achieve until we send away the dictatorship. So, Dr. Kauma, like you said, many people keep saying, you guys are only talking about Museveni must come, Museveni must come. Yes, because he is the hindrance to achieving these things. One of the things which the president said in the last campaign, and it was as if he was prophesying, he said that 5 years of Museveni, do you remember that speech? He said 5 more years of Museveni will mean 5 more years of corruption, 5 more years of senseless death, 5 more years of all these problems. Today you saw what happened at home. People being buried under garbage in Chelsea. People being buried under garbage, Kasasiro. You know? But the last time I checked, about maybe close to 10 people dead. 12 now. So you can imagine the senseless killings. So we want the people of Uganda to have better lives, but that can only happen when we come together and change our country. Maybe I'll have another opportunity to talk about it, but I want us to believe in ourselves. Let's have faith. Let us remain committed. Let us continue doing everything that we can do to change our country. Because we cannot achieve all these lofty ideas when the dictatorship is still there. And I can assure you, God being on our side and ourselves being determined, there is nothing we shall not be able to achieve. Thank you. And may I take this opportunity to invite the leader of our parliamentary team to also give us an address, and we will in turn invite our deputy president, who will invite our president to speak to us. Thank you very much. People power.
Thank you, NCD. A lot of people find it difficult to call it SG, so they call it SG. Then once it's called the spokesman, because spokesperson is a very complicated language. People power. Our power. I once again want to take this opportunity to appreciate our diaspora leadership. You people make us proud. Yes, you do. Make us proud. President of South Africa, Uganda, Need President. You see, for a very, very long time, the diaspora had always been concerned about the happenings back home, bothered in one way or another, involved in one way or another. But we are glad that it's different now. You people keep coming together, you are better organized. It's different. I mean, I was in the media for over 14 years, and I would see the happenings of politics, both within Uganda and outside. And I've never seen the diaspora this organized. So it gives us a lot of hope. Let me encourage you. You know, the struggles that we are involved in, the pushing back that we are involved in, can be laborious sometimes. Sometimes I'm sure you ask yourselves, this is actually moving. We get bothered at times. We have got to keep reinvigorating and re-energizing ourselves. Because sometimes it's like pushing back against this huge mountain. It can be frustrating at times. You do A, B, C, D, and then before you know it, you're abducting people, and then you're going in all those circles. We have buried so many people, many others are in jail. The frustrations are so many. But you see, it's important that we have got to keep going. Dr. Ron Daniel, who stepped out, he always talks about the civil rights movement and how these guys pressed on and on and on and insisted every step of the way until they got where they needed to get. And look, this country in which you live is a few words, there are still challenges, but you have moved miles. But it took work. People had to work as hard as they possibly could. You guys in the diaspora have your challenges too, your frustrations. I'm hoping that you realize you need to keep moving. We need to keep pushing as much as we possibly can. I want to annoy you people in just like 5 minutes. Huh? Yeah, I want to annoy you some more. Because already you are annoyed. Yes. Everyone in the diaspora has got a soul. You have a reason, a cogent reason why you left Uganda. Otherwise, you have to be home with your families. But for one reason or another, it could be an economic reason. Either you failed to find a job, or you needed better, you were struggling to make ends meet. And so you left the country. For some of you, it's political reasons. Because you are being lonely back home. And for your safety, you needed to leave. Some of you are here, some are in several countries. Several examples. So you have got a reason why you are not in Uganda. And I am sure that reason annoys you enough to work hard to see that I can get there. Mr. President, yesterday we adumbrated a couple of things. We talked about healthcare, education, we talked about infrastructure and what we ought to do to fix these things. Because there are things where are the resources going to go? The SG has just reminded us. In Uganda, we lose over 10 trillion shillings per year to corruption. 10 trillion is about half the money that you can collect in Uganda. Because in the last financial year, the target of URA was to collect 24 trillion, they collect 23 trillion. Now 10 is stolen. Forget the huge budget that you see at 72 trillion, which is an inflated, puffed up thing. Of course, most of that is going to be borrowed and so on and so forth. But half of the money that we collect in our country, you think about it, half is stolen. What much can that money do? When I wanted to cite a few examples, some, when I was chairing the committee, I was sharing some of the prevailing situations, which show you that when you talk about this, and by the way, the 10 trillion figure is not our figure. That's a figure for government of Uganda. A report of the Inspector General of Government. So that's a report of government. And for those that have been following, the journalists I am, whenever government gives you a figure, you know that they have either lessened it so that they don't look as bad as government. So you can push that figure even higher. The amount that is stolen. So when you hear people say, we actually don't have money, we do have money. One of the entities we investigated was Uganda Railways Corporation. These people bought locomotives. First of all, very old locomotives in comparison to what they were meant to buy. And they bought them a lot more expensively. And they didn't go through procurement regulations as they should have. So they spent 48 billion to buy locomotives. Bigari, Yomuka. They brought them home. They failed to function. Then they told us, you see, the rails need to be tweaked a little bit and so on. They tried to do that. They moved one of them and the thing derailed. It went off the rail. 48 billion. So I insisted, together with the team I was leading, I said, this thing here, no. So we made a lot of noise. Eventually the MD was fired and the entire board. But I said, our quest was not just for these people to get fired. I want this money recovered. That hasn't happened to date. When we were handling Uganda Land Commission, some of you have got land challenges back home. You buy land and then before you know it, somebody bought it before you. But you paid money. There's a lot of land fraud back home. So there are people who, they go to villages. There's many parts of our country whose land is not titled. So these people would go to like Hoima or wherever, and then like 5 square miles, villages and villages of people. There's no title. And so they go and forge titles. And then they come and say, we want to displace you people because we are the ones with title. But these people have been on that land for over 100 years, dating back to the other generations, yeah? But somebody's saying, I've got the title. Now, they then get into cahoots with government officials to say, okay, now, since this person has got title, government should save these people so that they are not sent off their land. Government should now pay this person who has got title so that those people are saved. But it's an entire syndicate. So one of those cases we discovered, some lawyers also thought they were very smart. I mean, by the way, Mr. President, congratulations again on becoming a lawyer. Sebo kanso tukane togera kukwe. Natukuyoza okutuuka ku bwa lawyer. I was teasing him yesterday. I told him, you see, this profession you have come into, you find seniors like us. So you are junior counsel. Never mind engeri gye tugenda okuvimba. President waffe lawyer. Batukasuka kulalira naye twaddaana birimba. Batuzaala ng'ensobi naye twafuuka ensonga. That is the reality. So I spoke about lawyers, some unscrupulous lawyers. They went and forged the signature of a high court judge. So then I looked for the judge, who had since retired. So I asked him, I said, boss, there's this letter here. Apparently you signed it, letters of administration, giving these people powers to administer all of this land, and they eventually got title. He told me 2 issues that are problematic. Number 1, that's not my signature. Number 2, that document was signed when I had since retired. So then, what we did, we insisted and got those titles cancelled. But these guys had already been paid billions of shillings. So to date, I am still insisting and saying, I want these guys to return that money. Because now the titles were cancelled after we made a lot of noise. So the titles got cancelled. And so I have since been saying, now that the titles were cancelled, these guys were paid based on fake titles. Let them return that money. That has yet to happen. KCCA. The SG has been telling us about the landfill in Chite. It's very unfortunate. We have been saying, look, this place here is full to capacity, about 36 acres, but since 1996, it's been a heap and it got oversaturated. So they purchased some other land, Dundu, in Mukono, 136 acres, but then they have failed to get the place ready. Anyway, the example I was going to give about KCCA. You normally hear of these traders whom they want to send off the streets. So these guys came up with a brilliant idea. And they said, now these vendors here want to get a place for them. That's supposed to be a good thing, right? They went in downtown Kampala, in Kisenyi, identified 10 acres of land. Most of that land, by the way, is a wetland. I went to see it. Got into cahoots with the vendor of the land, and then they said, we are going to, we need $100 million for these 10 acres. You people buy land in Uganda, eh? What that means is that each acre of land was to cost $10 million. This is just land, it doesn't have a building or anything. Just land. Most of which was wet. But then they were convincing us that each acre is going to cost 37 billion shillings. That's the about 37.5 billion when you do the transfer. How does that make sense? Even in Dubai, an acre of land does not cost 37 billion. It does not. Just land, not having a structure. So they said, we now want to take these vendors to that land. I said, but you thieves. So we pushed back, made a lot of noise, and up to now, because the deal was meant to be cut sometime last year. But we said, no, this nonsense cannot happen. But that's an example of many other things that happen, which we may never get to know about. We went to Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation. Among many things that were happening there, really, the Electoral Commission, after an election, it's meant to gazette those that have won an election at different levels. And the law says the Electoral Commission can only gazette with the Uganda Gazette, which is run by Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation. That's the law. So they don't have the option of going to Monitor, Vision, or whatever the case might be. So because of the lengthy roster, for all the people that had won, including councillors, UPPC charged them 15.4 billion. Now, some sharp fellows within UPPC said, we are the ones who brought this bill, so we must be given commission. 10%. So they shared 1.54 billion. So I asked them, I said, you people have been paid commission? They said, yeah. I said, how does this make sense? That we are the ones who brought the business to UPPC. I asked them, what does the law say? Because the law says electoral commission is meant to gazette only in the Uganda Gazette, which is run by UPPC. So when you say that you convinced them to give you business, and so you deserve a commission, how does that make sense? Just think about it. To date, they haven't refunded that money. We went after UNBS. Maybe some of you were following. Some lousy MD there whom we pushed and pushed. I got evidence. And then he admitted how he had given 100 million to a board to reappoint him. But for him to do that is because he knew there were so many deals therein. So many. Yesterday we talked a bit about Civil Aviation Authority.
Yes, we did.
And Uganda Airlines, which report was thrown out the window by this very corrupt woman. Let me cite for you 2 examples about that airline of ours. You know, when we talk about these things, some people say we don't like our country. But people were buying tickets, some of these regular flyers to Dubai and so on. Somebody buys a ticket and recycles that ticket over 10 times without paying. They pay once. But because they're in cahoots with the officials of the airline, so the ticket is not closed, as it is called technically. So you buy the ticket once and you fly with it 10 times. So Uganda Airlines made a loss of about 500 billion in a very short time. And then I saw ministers saying, you saying you just don't like your country, airlines make losses. Okay, yes, they make losses. But how are we making our losses? Because those were billions of shillings because you've got to spend fuel and so on. But then people are flying for free under the guise of having paid. But the fellow paid once. And many, many other cookery things that were happening there. Where the MD had a boyfriend who had a company, and she, without following procurement, gave the boyfriend's company a deal worth, I forget the exact figure, some billions of shillings. We did some digging up and discovered she founded the company with him. And when we talk about these things, we are enemies of the country. People have been following the debate on Lubowa Hospital.
Yes.
Which I said I'm not going to keep quiet about this one. We have so far injected 600 billion shillings into Lubowa Hospital. So I went with a couple of leaders, some MPs are here. He said, we want to do our oversight role. They denied us access. You know, we stood somewhere and peeped, and we were not seeing anything. So I told my colleagues, you know, it is possible, if we are building an underground hospital, maybe that's why we cannot see it. But today, the 600 billion shillings cannot be accounted for. And they told us they will give us an update about it. I'm addressing the question of money. Those who say that we don't have money to deal with these situations. When you people travel back to Uganda, you normally use the Entebbe Expressway. Not so. Do you know that that road is one of the most expensive roads in the world? That road cost $476 million US. Each kilometer costs $9.2 million. The average, according to the computations and those that had done the prognostications, was going to be about $2 million per kilometer. But the sharp fellows blew the thing up. And so when I hear some people in government huffing and puffing how they have fixed infrastructure, but at what cost? Because all of these are debts which your children, your grandchildren and mine will have to pay. And so we have got money. Let me end with this one. Parliament of Uganda has been constructing its chambers, new chambers, because there are people who decided every village must become a constituency and all of that nonsense. Those chambers were meant to be completed in 2019. They kept pushing and pushing. Then at some point, as I was digging up, said, money has not been as available. I said, but wait a minute. So I did some more digging up, and this is another war I want to start very soon when I go back. You know, I like starting trouble, eh? Parliament rents Kingdom. You people know Kingdom? It's like an arcade, whatever, where Shimoni was. Do you know who the owner is? Sudhir / all those other names. Parliament spends 9 billion shillings per year on rent. There's another one called Queen's Chambers. Parliament spends 4.5 billion shillings on rent for office space for MPs and staff. Then there's another called Development House. It's all about 6 billion or thereabout. So you're saying you don't have money to complete your structure, which would make sure you're not renting, but then you have billions that you're spending to rent. Your case is as good as mine. The owners of the structure are cutting deals with the leadership of the institution to say, look, delay that project. Because you see, once the project ends, these guys won't get the billions. And that's how they divide. As I invite the vice president to come and invite the president, one, we have got money. Number two, I want to encourage us not to be intimidated in keeping quiet about these evils. When we speak out, they intimidate us, they threaten us, and then they will use all manner of blackmail. You Senyonyi, you're saying these commissioners, they sat and gave themselves 500 million, 400. That's 1.7 billion. Then some random fellow says, but even you, they gave you 1.7 billion. I am bringing the evidence. Of course, you try and match the other because we are making noise about their 1.7 billion. So I said, let me take this confused fellow to court. He filed a defense and said, for me, I don't have facts. I was just giving my opinion. I'm a Christian and I love the Lord and I forgive people. But this one I've said, no, I'm going to take him all the way. He has got to pay for his foolishness. So all those tactics will be used. But I want to encourage us, wherever we are, let's keep pressing on. Madam Deputy President, come and address us.
Thank you so much. People power, our power. In the interest of time, I'm going to be very, very brief, extremely brief, because there's one person that we would like all to hear from. Please get your notebooks ready, because when I unleash this person, you will need to be taking notes. Yes. Your Excellency, the de facto and de jure President of the Republic of Uganda, the entire leadership of National Unity Platform Party, the diaspora here well represented. I would like just to recognize some, the generation. You know, there are 3 G's we represent: generation, geography, and gender. James Stockwell, please, you caught my eye. And with your very beautiful, dedicated wife, Jaja Maria. Yes, we love. And of course, Your Excellency, the newest members of National Unity Platform Party, the global memberships, they are here. They were, received ably. We take note. Yes. And of course, Mirembe, the Ugandan Mirembe Tina, Dr. Harriet, seated next to one very dedicated person from Nebi, because they say we are Baganda. Yeah? Your Excellency. Yes. Without much ado, I would like to take this opportunity. Baden sabo kutwala obude buno ekiseera kino kubanga nze nancha. Sabo okutwala ekiseera kino okuyita President waffe His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Musinguzi Ngobi.
This is a message to the government expressing what is exactly in the people's mind. People power! Our power! People power! Our power! NUP! Everywhere! In Chicago! In Busoga! In Arua! In Masaka! In Lira! Everywhere! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy President. I'm humbled by your introduction. Zebera njagala nnyo yogere Uganda byokka. Very, very, very powerful. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy. Comrades, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ugandans, friends of Uganda in a very, very special way. The professionals, the dissidents, Ugandans that love Uganda, that decided not to relax and enjoy the comfort of America, but to use all your time, resources, and ability to fight for the freedom and rights of those that are home. I salute you today. Before I go any further, allow me again to ask you all to stand and we pay respect. Just this morning back home, there was a very big, unfortunate occurrence. Like SG has mentioned, so far they've only counted 12, but they're still counting. Many of our people in my constituency, Chadondo East, just about 1.5 kilometers from my house, our fellow citizens have been buried in garbage. I want to request us to observe a moment of silence for them. May their souls rest in eternal peace. And may they get justice. Please take your seats. Like Comrade Nubian likes to mention it, and I agree with him, that everything that goes wrong in our country is because of Museveni, it's because of misgovernance. Imagine losing your people because of lack of a waste management plan. Museveni killed those people. because he was in Chitezi a short while ago. Not to see how people are doing, but to ensure that his land grabbers are protected. He protected Chichoncho in Chitezi after grabbing people's land and evicting them. And up to now, there's not been injustice or resettlement. In the same place, this has happened. And I believe it continues to happen everywhere in the country. But that's it. And it continues to happen. That's why we are here. That's why we shall not stop this fight. Comrades, this afternoon, I'll be brief. I've been asked to break down our core values or what we believe in. That's my passion. I always want to be understood. It is important. You will note that in most of my communications, I try to ensure that I break down what we are about. Because people ask, even my old friends ask, in the ghetto they ask, Bobby, what are you about? Many of my old friends with whom we used to have our long dreads, with whom we used to enjoy our music, some don't understand me. They say, what are you guys up to? Bobby, you're the same person that used to tell us that politics is dirty. Why are you then in politics? You people put on your berets, we like it. When you chat, we like it. When you show up in a place, we like it because people gravitate to you. Some come to us because of the music. Others come to us because so many people follow us. But what is it that we are about? I'm glad that in these few minutes, that's what I'm requested to break down for you and those watching us from home. First of all, who are we here? In this convention, there's the UNA convention. For all the years we used to come to America for the convention, which convention I later understood that it was to discuss issues of Ugandans living in North America. Although, in many ways, it's a socializing event. You meet, you have fun, you live in different states in America. Living in different states is like living in different countries. So that is once a year, an event of coming together. Is it why we are here? So who are we? In my view, ladies and gentlemen, we can break that down in many ways. But in my simple English, we are Ugandans or friends of Uganda from different backgrounds, different mindsets, different genders, different beliefs, different tribes, different religions, but with common pains and common aspirations. The pain of our country, of our people. The pain of misrule and mismanagement. The pain of dictatorship. That's our common pain. Many of us have their personal issues. Oh, they killed my father, they killed my relatives, they evicted me from my land, but all those are pain, those are the injustices. And we share beliefs and hopes of a new Uganda, which new Uganda has been very ably broken down by our Secretary General. So we are Ugandans from different backgrounds, but with common dreams of a new Uganda. What do we want? What do we want? Somebody sees you, you came from prison yesterday, but today you're again agitating for change. What do you want? We want to remove Museveni. We want to remove a dictator. We should never be unclear about that. We want to remove the dictator who is the impediment to our progress as a country. To have a new Uganda. We want to remove the gang of thieves, of plunderers that took over our country 38 years ago. That is what we want. That is our main mission right now. It is not the ultimate. It is not the end in itself, but it is the first step. Because in Uganda, you cannot do anything unless if you remove the impediment, then start afresh to build a new country. So that is what we want. Twagala kujjako Museveni tuli bayeekera. Manyi abamu mutya naye nze ndi muyeekera. Ate nkibaga nze nkulira abayeekera, nze ndi saabayeekera. The only difference nti ffe tuyeekera Museveni mu mateeka. Buli kimu tukikola mu mateeka. The other difference is we are not violent. We are not criminals. No. At least we've not gone there yet. And we hope that we are not pushed there. Because while we believe in non-violence, family, I've said it many times that I'm worried that a time will come when I cannot stop those that want to free themselves by any means necessary. So that's what we are about. After removing Museveni, what do we want to replace him with? I believe you attentively listened to Comrade David Lewis, and that's exactly what we want to bring. The new Uganda, he has broken down what we want to replace Museveni's failed system with. That is the new Uganda that we want to bring. Now finally, what do we believe in? What are our core values? Because what you believe in is what you are. What you believe in is exactly what you are. So what do we believe in? Ladies and gentlemen, these are our core values. There are 6. And they go as follows. Discipline, that's number 1. Reliability, that's number 2. Integrity, that's number 3. Inclusiveness, that's number 4. Patriotism, that's number 5. And service, that's number 6. So what do we mean when we say discipline? When I was growing up, discipline meant, stopping every time you see an elder and greeting them. Discipline meant sitting well while you're eating food. As a matter of fact, in our family, discipline meant not eating with the left, eating with the right. Discipline meant not making sound when you're eating. Is that what we mean when we say discipline? With the People Power Movement and the National Unity Platform, discipline is wider than that. Friends, many of us, if not all of us, are not under anybody's house or anybody's control. So, what is discipline to us? According to me, discipline, number 1, discipline is the ability to control yourself, to control one's behavior, and to be able to control one's conduct. Discipline is not doing something even when you can do it. Discipline is not drinking and getting drunk even when you can afford to do it. To the men, discipline means not humanizing even when you're very handsome or beautiful. Discipline means self-control, sacrificing a little for the greater good. Discipline, ladies and gentlemen, means respect for oneself and for others. And that respect for others, I must emphasize, respect for others, especially where and when you disagree. That is discipline. Discipline means taming oneself, sacrificing your ego. That discipline is a very important element in every struggle. And we've been taught from time immemorial that any revolution without discipline is dead. So if we don't have that discipline, we are finished. I always communicate to our friends, especially young people, that we have a duty to be disciplined and to show that discipline to the population, to those that watch us. Because the way we conduct ourselves is certainly going to be the way that people interpret us. But this is a message I've been giving, especially most of our bloggers. I call them our bloggers, not because we control them, but because many of them speak for the people of Uganda. But again, the ability to conduct ourselves by a certain standard, that is discipline. Because we can't hold them accountable. Many people have castigated us, even when some bloggers speak out there. Blogger agenda nayo gere ebibye oba politician yamunyiziza oba omukulembeza amunyiziza namuwemulirawo. Discipline means obutawemula ne bw'oba ng'osobola okuwemula nga tewali ayina kyakugambye. Discipline means controlling your anger, even when it gives you satisfaction when you explode. Discipline kitegeeza kukkiriziganya ne banno nti bannaye twagambye tutambule bwe tuti. Omulamwa gwaffe gubeere ku Uganda guleme kubeera gwa kulumbagana na kuwalalira abantu betulowooza oba betulaba nti batulwanyisa. That is discipline. And so we believe that in a new Uganda we must have that discipline. Part of the problem in our country is that there's no discipline. Even in institutions where there should be the highest level of discipline, the military and police, there's zero discipline. No wonder the soldiers of Uganda and the police officers are raping young boys in detention. So, let what is happening in our country, yes, I didn't make a mistake. The police officers in Uganda are raping young boys in custody. So I'm saying we must teach it to ourselves. We're not just going to learn it when we get there. We will be deceiving ourselves. You cannot give what you don't have. So we should have it now. Tusobole okuyingira mu Uganda empya nga tuli abakulembeze abo abasaanyi. Number 2 is reliability. Reliability in Uganda. No, that's not a symbol. Reliability, we should be people to rely on. So, reliability to the people of Uganda will mean dependability. We should be people that the people can depend on. And we can only confirm that to our people, not through our words, no, but through our actions. We should be able to win public trust and public confidence. We can only do that by demonstrating consistency, so that people know that because of the way we conducted ourselves yesterday and today, we will conduct ourselves tomorrow. We cannot be saying one thing today and another thing tomorrow, standing for one value today and another value tomorrow. Mandela taught us that any man that changes his position depending on who he's dealing with, that's not a person that can lead a country. So we cannot be standing for justice today and injustice tomorrow, or the other way around. Then we won't be reliable. People won't rely on us. So we believe in having trust, public trust and public confidence in a new Uganda. That is what is going to make us leaders worth our name. Number 3 is integrity. This is something that is lacking in Uganda, not only in the political class, very unfortunately, even within the elders, very, very unfortunately, even within religious leaders. You saw a bishop from Gomba, never actually Nadiva Gomba. Yehova kunamira kabaka, nebama nebamfula RDC, Yehova bishop. You saw a bishop asking for a car from General Museveni and promising him work for him in the next election. So the integrity has, faded away. We need to resurrect it. We as a National Unity Platform, we believe in integrity, we believe in wasteful. And our kind of integrity, ladies and gentlemen, means holding oneself accountable. You yourself. Over time we've been taught that integrity is doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching you. So tuberebe simbu eri abantu bafe, but most importantly, on the values that we stand for, what we believe in as people, doing the right thing even when we are alone, doing the right thing even under challenging circumstances, standing for values even when you're facing your own friend, your own relative, and those that, are expected to get away with it. That is what is wrong with our country, where you find Museveni holding the likes of, who is this guy that ran against him? No. I even forget their names. No, not Babasi, in the recent election. Tumukunde. You hold Tumukunde accountable and you court-martial him, but Muhoozi does the same thing and gets away with it. So that should be different in the new Uganda. If we say this is what we believe in, all of us are going to be held by the same standards. That is what is going to make people believe that indeed we are people to be trusted, we are people worth the word integrity. Most importantly, friends, integrity should mean to all of us standing by strong moral principles. Unfortunately, integrity is down, like I said, across the country. But we should believe that we can resurrect it. We should look at examples across the world. We are not short of examples. Number 4, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very important, is inclusiveness. Now, like I said in the beginning, we are Ugandans that come from different walks of life. We have farmers, we have lawyers here, we have teachers there. We have men, we have women, we have children. We have different backgrounds, different walks of life. In the new Uganda, everybody must matter. Every view must matter. Every belief must matter. That's the only way we are going to claim, and rightly so, that we're working for Ugandans, all Ugandans. There shouldn't be first-class Ugandans and second-class Ugandans. We shouldn't be comfortable because the majority is comfortable. Our Secretary General mentioned it, that Obote is unfamously quoted saying we shall not wait for Karamoja to develop. I'm here to tell you that we shall develop together with Karamoja. We shall move with the disabled people. And if they are slow, we are all going to be slow until we can push them to walk fast on the same pace with us. We are going to have the same standards. Those are going to be open for both boys and girls, men and women. Everybody is going to be included. We are going to hold hands with everybody and jump the bridge together. We are going to include everybody, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we believe in. We are going to have equality and equity. We're going to be equal. Whether you are physically disabled or not, Uganda is going to be for all of us. Everybody will be included. A very simple example is that you're not going to find a building in a new Uganda that does not have a ramp. You're not going to have, facilities that don't cater for other people. We believe in that, but we must demonstrate that. That's a value that we believe. Because one person, one Ugandan to be left behind, that is too many Ugandans to be left behind. We shall strive to involve a wide range of ideas, like I said, of views and perspectives. Tribes, religions, beliefs, genders, ages, etc. must and will all be represented in a new Uganda. In a new Uganda, every view will matter. That's what we believe in. We are going to include everyone. That's the only way you can take a nation forward. Number 5, friends, this is patriotism. And we don't mean this patriotism of Museveni that is being sung. Patriotism, in simple terms, is love of one's country. But what is a country? Because we view our country different from the way Museveni views it. Museveni views a personal property. And all of us are like his livestock. But when we see our country, when we view our country, we see home. And we see fellow citizens. And we believe in love for our country. Omoyo gwe gwanga. Ate gwanga be bantu. Because one might ask, what country? Patriotism to us means, a people-centered mindset. We cannot claim to be patriotic. We're not talking about an unfree country. We talk about patriotism meaning a free country. Patriots are country lovers, they are not power lovers. So we are going to be country lovers in a new Uganda. Patriotism for us means tolerating difficult and challenging conversations. Patriotism to us means tolerating people, even those that don't believe what we believe in, for as long as we all are Ugandans. Because we believe all of us are going to have an equal stake in that new Uganda that we will be calling home. Patriotism, ladies and gentlemen, I emphasize on disagreement because that's what makes us human beings. If we all agreed, we would be damn fools. One man called Howard Zinn said that dissent is the highest level of patriotism. Because that does not mean individual, it means country. So patriotism will be demonstrated to the core in the new Uganda. And finally, about patriotism, ladies and gentlemen, patriotism for us means the spirit of common good. I always talk about it and say patriotic leaders develop their countries. And I always give an example of a country like America. In a country like America, with patriotic leaders, which is well governed, there's that real feel of common good. When you're poor, your poverty ends in your house. You get out of your house, you're just as rich as any other American. You're as rich as Bill Gates in America when you leave your poverty in your house. You walk on good roads, you go to good hospitals, etc. But in a country where leaders are not patriotic, in a country that is mismanaged like Uganda, even when you're so rich, Your wealth ends in your house. You get out, you're just as poor as Eddie Mutwe. The bad roads are going to affect you equally. The insecurity is going to affect you equally. So for us, patriotism is love, practical love for the country. And people that love their countries do good for their countries. And countries are not just territories. Countries are citizens. Countries are people. Finally, on our values, ladies and gentlemen, number 6 is service. Service of weereza. And that begins by the kind of leadership that we believe in. Servant leadership, where leaders are servants, they are workers, and citizens are the bosses. And that is supposed to be clear and evident, because these are the people that we go to. We sing for them. You find politicians dancing for people, even those that despise dancing or singing. You'll find them going to bars even when they are Muslims. They smile even when they're angry, because they want to appease people. But it shouldn't end only in elections. People should be bosses all through. Of course, I always tell people that that is not going to come on a silver platter. You must demand it. But as people, as leaders in the National Unity Platform, service is very important, but it must begin with the leaders being servant leaders. Of course, that service cannot come without a sense of answerability and accountability. Without a sense of knowledge that, we must show value for taxpayers' money. Service comes from the word serve or kuweereza. And not only serving is not coming and, speaking on behalf of people and walking away. No. Service means putting things in place, things that are paid for. People pay taxes, and those taxes are supposed to offer services to those people. And we're supposed to be accountable to those people. So that is something that we strongly, strongly believe in. Of course, it includes humility, it includes humbleness, it includes listening to the people that we serve. Like I said, it includes accountability and answerability. Why else would be people paying taxes? Why else would people be paying politicians? To serve them. So we strongly believe that service there must be, by the citizens, access to public resources, access to justice. Not this business of Omavuta Singa Masango. Not this business of going to police. You pay taxes, but you go to police and you have to pay a police officer to come and apprehend the criminal. There must be service. Now today, we are mourning our people in their dozens in Chitezi, because there is zero service. Here, if there were no services, then there would be no reason anywhere. It can't happen, because citizens are empowered, they are sensitized. So these things, we tell them to people, and we don't stop there. We go ahead and ask them to hold us accountable to these values. These are promises that we make to people in exchange for their mandate. And therefore, we must be held accountable. We must be servants. We must deliver. Deliver on economic opportunities for our people. Deliver on equality. And service does not only mean offering services in the capital city and it's all good. No. If Uganda has schools, Karamoja must have schools. If Ankole has water, Busoga must have water. Those services are not supposed to be tailored to a certain region or a certain ethnicity. They must be for all Ugandans, because we believe that all Ugandans are supposed to be equally served by their leaders. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end by what I started with on the issue of service. Servant leadership, making leaders, servants, and citizens bosses, emulating the idea of America, Europe, and other well-governed countries, having a spirit of common good, serving all citizens, regardless of religion or creed, regardless of location, regardless of tribe. I want to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I know that we've taken some time and you guys want to go for a boat cruise, and I'm looking forward for an even more extended conversation tomorrow. I thank you and wish you a good rest of the day. God bless you and God bless Uganda.
This is a message to the government, expressing what exactly on the people's mind.
Please take your seats.
People power, our power, NUP, everywhere.
Can you give the president?
Before I said it, you gave me a humiliation. Then now I'll ask you to be a thunderous hand clap. Now can you have a thunderous hand clap for the president? Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the depth, and we are glad to have you this afternoon. We have run out. First of all, we thank God that our program is done. We are running a little bit behind schedule on our next program, and that program is where most of you want to be, and those that are outside. But we are grateful all of you are here. Mr. President, the women had an empowerment platform yesterday. Please give them a big hand clap. Grace Nachiwenukade and her colleagues and our able leader here, they did, and many of them gave us a very, very, very great interface as women, and we look forward to operationalizing whatever resolutions that you came up with. We will find a slot tomorrow in the other programs for you to share with the entire public. We are very grateful. We are grateful to the young people that joined us, the youth. Please stand up for recognition of the president. Mr. President, those young people, Mr. President, those young people are with us. We had a great lecture. They really, really inspired us. As I said earlier, the word motivational state came from those young people as we were having a lecture with them. Mr. President, Professor Sejinya, alongside those expatriates, I will ask them to come and give you a handshake. Please, Professor Sejinya and your team come and get a recognition. They were baptized with the beret. The report must have been given by the Deputy President Zedriga. They have all been baptized. That is Professor Sejinja. Yeah, so the president is now confirming. Yes. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. You know, for long they said that we are working with foreigners. Now it is okay. We are here with them. They are now with us. Yes, thank you very, very much. You can give them can they have a picture? Yes, let them have a picture, a presidential picture. Let them have a presidential picture. It can be right
in front or right here? The president can choose where to have the picture. I'll ask the deputy president to come along and the secretary general later to come and have the picture. Okay, thank you. Yes. They have passed through us a lot of issues, and we are very grateful to have them. We are very grateful to have them. Viva NUP, viva! Viva people power, viva! Thank you very much. Thank you. The SG, you can join. Okay, quickly. Now, thank you. So, the remaining activities are going to be based on the time that you're going to give us. The time that you're going to give us. In the interest of time, probably you can stay there and the local will join. Professor Almadi, we are very, very grateful. Yes, Joel, please. Oh, okay, thank you. Without wasting any more time, I want to thank you all. Please, let's keep time with the activities. Tomorrow we have other activities, let's keep time. It's the reason we are here. Let us keep time and have these activities through. Tomorrow we will be having the political chumeza. So when we communicate, it is going to help us debate a lot of issues freely as a family. So tomorrow we are having the political chumeza, courtesy of Daniel here. So tomorrow we will have it. Let us all come and open our minds. It all starts with keeping time. Discipline, keeping time. We look forward tomorrow and in this afternoon as we go to other programs that fall in the docket of Nubian League. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you. We started with Mutkai. Mr. President, a short one. Please come, Mutkai. Quickly, with your cape. Mr. President, that gentleman wants to be officially baptized by you. You go right there. Go in front there. He wants to be baptized by you such that when he sins as a convert of the revolution. And the punishment is high. If you have been one of us and you sin, the punishment is high. So he's now being given the pedestal of, yes, he wanted it himself. Yona. Yeah, his name is Mordecai. Yes. Molodokai. I don't know whether I should call Yona Kanyomos for a handshake, but he should come as well. Kanyomos, please. That one is gone. That. Okay, now it's Kubatize. Jijeko Bajikuzeko. He's now also fully with us. And we look forward to, yes, hey. People power, our power. Let's link up later. God bless you.
People power, people power. Our power. The next item is the boat cruise. Tugenda bawayo obudashika butono mukyuse. The dress code is white and red for the boat cruise. Bobo inechila tawali mtawana. Then the dress code. So the buses are already outside the hotel. We have 3 buses. We have 3 buses. Please use those cars. We are going to the Navy Pier. That's where we are meeting. And we are taking off by 6 p.m. So make sure you are at the pier by 6 p.m. Boat cruise. No. We are leaving the hotel by 4. We are taking the bus. Buses ziri wabweru wa hotel. So mugende mwambale mangu tulinye basi naye abavuga emmotoka zammwe make sure to muliku Navy Pier by 6 p.m. latest. So Vanai, we look forward to hosting you at the Navy Pier tonight.
Presentation is out at this one now.
Wako elinyikirizo mulamu wafe na